Welcome to Romance Travel Market, understanding the niche market and introduction to destination weddings and romance travel training session. One in four Canadians have opted for a destination wedding. So that means an estimated 25% of all weddings by Canadians will be destination weddings this year. Destination weddings is the fastest growing segment in the travel industry. At 162,000 weddings a year, that's 40,500 destination weddings a year that are happening. So there is a huge market to capture some of those weddings. So 92% of those that had destination weddings plan to go back to where they got married, which equals repeat customers for you. The average Canadian group destination wedding size is 28 passengers, though we have seen upwards of 80, 90, 100. If you take 28 passengers times average minimum markup of $150 minimum, that's $4,200, which equals real profit. So if you did the math and times that by 2, that would be $8,400 in profit for one wedding group of just shy of 60 passengers. And that's without add-ons and other things that you can add on to your markup and to your wedding groups. So 99% of those getting married will also go on a honeymoon, which equals repeat customers. So there's an opportunity right away when you get a new lead for a destination wedding to also ask them about their honeymoon, and whether that is a honeymoon to plan the second week of after their wedding, if it's for a future date, if it's to use their future travel vouchers a year after they travel, is definitely opportunity for you for repeat customers. In terms of weddings, the average price spent on a honeymoon is $5,000 per person, which is up 170% over regular trips. 31% of all adults also go on a romantic trip every year, and we'll talk about that in the next few slides. So romance travel really just isn't about destination weddings, so that is the biggest portion and pie of it, but there is a lot more to romance travel than just that. The honeymooner's profile: bride's age is 27 years old, the groom's age is 29. 57% live together already, 90% are college educated, 89% are employed, and the average household income is approximately $83,200. So for the target market of romance travel, there is money to spend on leisure travel. And then 88%, another stat that we found is that 88% of honeymooners will take a 2-week or longer honeymoon, which of course also means higher profit for you. In looking at destination weddings specifically, the engagement season usually is Christmas to Valentine's Day. Of course, anyone can get engaged anytime, but we see a spike obviously at Christmas. We do target our ads and our marketing just after Christmas on engaged couples, which is super easy to do in Facebook, and we see that right through to Valentine's Day. So the bulk of our romance shows and marketing that you see for the wedding industry will always be around that time. That is when they're excited, they're eager to start making their plans and learn about different options. Top destination wedding locations are, as far as countries go, are Mexico is number 1, and we'll learn more about these destinations in a future training session. Cuba, of course, Dominican Republic, and Jamaica. We'll also learn about pricing on these destinations in a future training session as well. And watch definitely for a rise in other Caribbean destinations, Italy cruises, and something kind of more unique. There's a trend right now that we're seeing of kind of been there, done that. The average person has probably been to 2 or 3 destination weddings in that millennial market that we're looking at, and they don't want to do what their friends have done. They want to do something different. They want to go somewhere different because been there, kind of done that. So watch for a rise in other Caribbean locations like St. Lucia, Grenada. We just had a request for Aruba, all that kind of stuff, the Bahamas, so on and so forth. So who is the millennial? So the millennial is between the ages of 23 to 38, and they'll be the destination wedding client for the next 10 years. they're definitely trenders, spenders, and recommenders. They're very viral. The average bridal party has 5 bridesmaids, and 3 of them will either be already engaged or be engaged within a year of the destination wedding that they're attending. Um, they're frienders as well. So 95% say that of millennials that were interviewed say that it matters whether they feel that they can become friends with you as one of their wedding vendors. It's not just a transactional kind of relationship. They really want to feel like they have a friend or somebody on their side working for them. And as I mentioned in the previous slide, they're all looking for their own unique experience. So what exactly are they looking for? They're very much looking for a distinct services, unique concepts, and it's all about the experience. So I know one of my last wedding couples, what she was looking for was it had to be a lush property. It had to have a private beach, which is very challenging. Had to have white sand, turquoise water. She wanted a chandelier on her gazebo hanging down over where they were getting married, and she wanted the ceremony to be traditional to the country that they ended up getting married in. So very much looking for unique ideas, and it's really all about the experience. And then personalization continues to be on trend, so not the cookie cutter packages that you might see, but more personalization. You've seen dogs walking down the aisle, of course, um, as an example. In regards to the Canadian destination wedding couple, the wedding couple in most cases pays for the wedding themselves. 50% of couples will go over their budget in spending. They're looking at smaller guest lists, but bigger budgets. They really want quality over quantity. They do want to work with a wedding professional. Each couple, of course, is unique and looking for unique experiences, which we've already talked about. So no couple is cookie cutter, and you'll find as you're working with different couples, they definitely what is important to them is very different from the next one. And they don't want to handle the logistics of a destination wedding, which is why they seek our advice. And then Wi-Fi is very important to them, and it can make or break whether they choose a hotel, whether Wi-Fi is included and available in the rooms and in lobbies and public areas. It's incredibly important to this market. Um, the destination wedding cost average, and of course this is just basic average pricing. It can be way higher than this, but the welcome or rehearsal, cocktail party, or dinner is complimentary up to $500, and of course this all depends on the resort that they've chosen. The ceremony can be complimentary for basic, and then once you start adding flowers, upgraded chairs, miscellaneous, you can add on and on and on, up to $2,000 and even more. Photographer can be anywhere from $500 to $5,000, if not more. Depends if you bring somebody in from outside of what the resort offers, and then you're paying vendor fees on top of the packages that you're purchasing with the property. Cocktail hours can be complimentary up to $500 or so. Reception dinners again can be complimentary up to $50 to $70 per person. A lot of times the wedding packages will include a certain number of people in their package, and then anyone above that is 50 to 70 US dollars per person on top of that. And entertainment, depending if you want a mariachi band, a full, just a DJ, or anything in between in entertainment, fireworks, all of that kind of stuff can range from 400 to 2,000 and beyond. So if you look at a general basic destination wedding, the estimated cost, not including travel, is $7,000. And an average cost of a local wedding, and I think that this price is very underestimated, is $28,000. And I've seen weddings and I've been to weddings that are probably upwards of $60,000. So the destination wedding market is quite attractive because of the price difference, and of course the benefit of traveling with your friends and family for a week and having a lovely time in a beautiful destination somewhere across the world away from Canada. So what kind of destination weddings are we seeing trending and seeing increased in wedding groups? So definitely ethnic and religious ceremonies, and the resorts are becoming very, very, very good at accommodating these types of groups. There's certain resorts that have specialized in these type of ceremonies and can do the 5-day Hindu ceremonies and ethnic and religious proceedings as well. So definitely get to know those properties and those resorts, which we will include in a future training session. But definitely they are set up to handle these, and we're seeing a huge influx of these because of the size of weddings, 500 plus people. The resorts, the bigger resorts, the palace resorts, the now resorts can handle weddings this size. Of course, also trending is over water chapels and unique chapel locations as well. So not just your standard chapel, but ones in caves or like this one over the water. And then, of course, there's a rise in LGBTQ weddings, and there's certain destinations that do perform them, and there's certain ones that just quite aren't there yet or have certain restrictions against LGBTQ weddings on the beach, public beaches versus in a gazebo, which is the case for Dominican Republic. But there are countries that definitely full on are able to do legal ceremonies for these types of weddings. What else is on the trend? Of course, we talked about is unique destinations. So outside of the box of the Caribbean and Mexico, this was a wedding couple that we had in Ireland, I believe it was. So definitely outside of your standard 7-night all-inclusive beach holiday. I also had a friend that got married in Italy in a castle at a destination wedding. Another really popular rising trend, as you can see here, these are the caves. I believe this is Puerto Vallarta. So having off-site weddings, so staying at a all-inclusive resort for 1 week with all of your family and friends, but leaving the resort and having an off-site venue is a huge trend, and that might be because of the been there done that kind of mentality that we've been seeing, because there have been so many destination weddings and wedding guests have attended so many. The wedding couples are looking for something different. So here you can see the wedding couple, our wedding couple coming down as they're entering into the caves here for their beautiful reception that's been set up. So a little bit more, again, we talked about this already, the destination wedding viral effect. There's a huge market for repeat business within the destination wedding. If you can service your clients well and their guests well and impress them with your service and knowledge. Because if the average bridal party has 5 bridesmaids and 3 of them will already uh, be engaged or will be engaged within a year, there's possibly 4 more destination weddings, and if not destination weddings, honeymoons that you can have under your belt. So you got to think about that when you're servicing your destination wedding groups, is a potential for repeat business, new weddings, or if the bridal party is engaged or getting married but not having a destination wedding, there's definitely opportunity for honeymoons. And then beyond that, just the guests, if you service them properly, there's definitely opportunity for repeat business future for future bookings. I have a agent that rescued a booking from another agent that wasn't unfortunately servicing them properly, and we were very worried about that wedding couple and what they thought and how their service was going to be moving forward. And they ended up booking, after their wedding and everything got straightened out, they ended up booking 5 more leisure groups or leisure trips, I should say, off of this agent that was able to help them through the rest of their way through their party. So there is huge potential for repeat business. Definite factors that affect the market, and it's not just wedding market, but I think the travel market in general that will apply to this. So definitely, of course, the millennial is the target client, has to fit the budget. Of course, they're very concerned in the destination wedding world, budget, not just for the wedding couple and their weddings budget, but for their guests. They're very, very sensitive to that. So for them and their guests that have families of 4, the average package is $2,000. Times that by 4, that's $8,000 they're asking one family or a set of guests to pay to go to their wedding. So they are looking for budget. Of course, the main factor is that it's cheaper than a traditional wedding at home. It's definitely way easier to plan than a wedding at home because the travel agent, such as you, is planning the travel portion and helping all of the guests, and the wedding coordinator in destination who have really come a long way in the last 15 years, are amazing at what they do. They're connected to so many vendors, and their wedding will be beautiful, if not more beautiful than it would be if they were to have one at home. Resorts are definitely learning about ethnic and religious weddings and able to facilitate all of the ceremonies leading up to the celebration and events, acceptance of LGBTQ weddings, and then huge factor that I cannot reiterate enough is referrals and how that can affect the market and your market. So definitely factors that affect the market negatively are negative press. Um, this can be anything from swine flu or economic things that happen, but swine flu, the bird flu that was going on, food poisoning that hit through a resort, um, something happening in the country in another part of the country. But any bad press, you'll start to see kind of a surge of that affecting the market and dips in travel before kind of the press gets over whatever's going on. Even the recent things that have been happening in the Dominican Republic or Costa Rica with alcohol, tainted alcohol, will all impact it, to the point where we've seen just recently a resort shut down because of some negative press that's happened. It's a resort that we've all stayed at, and never had experienced anything, but the negative press had, of course, really truly impacted it, that they had to close down for 3 months to try to recoup. Bad experiences as well. So anything that they might have had in the past or they've heard in the past from different people's bad experiences can definitely affect the market. I know a girl that had stayed at a resort down south that unfortunately got sick because of the soda lines weren't cleaned, and she got sick. And this was now 15-20 years ago, and health rules have changed, but because of that bad experience, her taste for going to Mexico, of course, has changed. And then the economy. So US versus Canadian dollar, of course, helps or doesn't help when the US dollar is a lot stronger than the Canadian dollar. All of the hotel and resort contracts are all in US dollars. So all of our suppliers, Sunwing, Transat, Air Canada, they buy the hotel space all in US dollars. So they have to convert that so that they can make sure that they're covered with a conversion into Canadian, and then that gets passed on to the client. So when the Canadian dollar is weak and the US dollar is strong, it definitely affects certain things. And of course, the market also affects people's spending as well. Unfortunately, any type of travel does, when the economy is suffering a bit, the travel side of things does slow down. But on a benefit or a positive note, when the economy is struggling, destination weddings are still quite stable because it is still the more economical choice. So looking at the habits of today's wedding couple, they're using smartphones for everything wedding related. 60% of brides are actively planning on a mobile device. 42% of brides are using a wedding app daily. 55% of couples are using hashtags. 92% of couples feel it's important to browse online wedding sites. Everything's mobile. And a whopping 93% said that their phone is more important than their toothbrush. So everything is mobile. And then 95% said that their wedding planners' personalities matter when deciding whether or not to work with you. So they are really looking for a relationship when they're choosing you as their destination wedding specialist. Just a little bit more on mobilization. 7.2 billion. There are 7.2 billion mobile users in the world. 70% of emails are opened on a mobile. The average millennial spends 4 hours and 42 minutes a day on their mobile. The average person is awake for 15 hours. So of that, 4 hours and 42 minutes, almost 5 hours. So a third of their day is spent on the phone, or 1 in 3 minutes per day are spent on the mobile device. So When you're thinking about this market, this also reflects in how they want to be serviced. You'll find that old school emails are sometimes and often by the wayside. They'd rather be texting you from their mobile device, WhatsApping you, or communicating via email on their mobile device. Excuse me. So the expectations of a destination wedding couple, they're quick response times. They don't want to wait. We do have to educate them in advance, and we'll talk about that more in our customer service training. But they want things and they want things now because they live in a mobile world where everything's at their fingertips. Sometimes it takes a little bit of education to let them know that at times we're relying on suppliers and other things that can't necessarily provide quick response times. They definitely want options for families as the destination wedding couple evolves. We also see second marriages, blended families, and then of course guests that have families, and then their friends. The whole market is of the destination wedding clientele, and their whole bridal party traditionally is in that same age bracket where they're either married or getting married and starting families. So definitely options for families is important for them because it's a destination wedding. Not everybody can attend. Live feeds during the ceremony are also something that they sometimes look for. And that goes back to that whole Wi-Fi is very important to them and can make or break whether they choose a resort because of instances like this. They're looking for special rates or comp nights for sneak peek. So we're starting to, see couples that want to go down and take a 4-night trip down to the destination that they're thinking about and visiting a bunch of resorts, which we can of course help them with. And some suppliers will offer that as part of a bonus, that if they book their wedding with them, that comp night travel package that they've booked will be applied to their wedding invoice. And again, more options for unique experiences, LGBTQ acceptance, and the ability to handle large ethnic groups. Now, getting more back into romance travel, it's not just weddings. So don't forget about anniversary trips as well. Actually, this picture right here, some of us were able to visit. This is Jade Mountain Resort in St. Lucia. It's beautiful. It's very unique. It's been the host of the Bachelor and Bachelorette series, TV series several times as well. So don't forget about that. Most resorts, when you book an anniversary trip, when you note the file, you can phone ahead and arrange for or purchase an anniversary package. Sometimes it's offered complimentary or have little goodies sent to their room. Or same with a honeymoon as well, you can do. Of course, bachelor and bachelorette parties, and there's certain resort chains that actually offer bachelor party packages. Of course, here's a bachelorette parties. One is kind of probably, I envision this being at Lake Louise, and then also somewhere in the Caribbean or Miami. And then don't also forget about proposal trips. Those are definitely up and coming as well. So here we have a couple he proposed to her in Paris. And then of course we've got unique beach proposals as well. And the resorts will help you they'll either have a proposal package, or you can contact them or get the groom or whoever's proposing to whom in contact. And you can even see in this photo here, they had something nice set up for them for their proposal. And then here they had a bunch of people with surfboards with "Will you marry me" on the back of the surfboard. So there's definitely options that we can help our clients with in proposal trips as well. And then lastly, anniversary trips are also something that we can't forget about. And anniversary trips can be anything from those beach destinations to something more unique like Africa here or Europe as well. And I actually included this little calendar because I quite liked it, but it was a suggested anniversary trips for every month of the year. So anything from skiing to Vegas, road trips, cruises, Grand Canyons, all that kind of stuff. It goes beyond kind of the, all-inclusive beach getaways. There's so many options for anniversary trips as well. So thank you very much for attending this training session on destination weddings, the market, and other romance travel. Have a great day.